Hello, everyone. Today, I have a story to share. Just one story, but it's a bit long, because it's the story that changed my life forever. It's terrifying, mysterious, and sometimes, you might feel like something's nearby while you're listening. This is about a classroom in the old school I used to attend, a room everyone feared, a room no one dared to enter, and a room that made me wonder, is there something in this world we don't truly know about? My name is Pear. Back then, I was in high school. My school was ancient, some buildings were over 100 years old. They say it used to be a military hospital during World War II. A lot of people died there, so many that no one could keep count. But the school never told us anything like that. It was just rumors, passed down from seniors to juniors. Some said they heard crying at night. Others claimed they saw shadowy figures walking through the hallways. Some even said that if you stayed late, you'd smell the faint scent of blood in the air. But for me, it all started with room 405. Room 405 was at the end of the hallway in the old building. It had been locked up for years. The windows were boarded shut, the door chained tight, covered in rust. They said if you walked by in the evening, you'd hear knocking on the glass, tap, 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 slow but clear. Sometimes, there'd be whispers, but you couldn't make out the words. I asked a teacher once why the room was sealed off. She just said, "It's broken." But her eyes, they trembled, like she was afraid of something. Then she quickly changed the subject. That's when I started to wonder, what was room 405 hiding? When I was in 10th grade, my best friend, Knock, was fearless. She loved testing things, challenging anything that scared others. One day after school, around 6 p.m., it was already dark, and a cool breeze was blowing. Knock dragged me to room April 5th. "Pear, let's check it out," she said. I protested, "Are you crazy? It's late." But she wouldn't listen. She pulled me to stand in front of the room. The hallway was dead silent, except for the sound of rustling leaves. The flickering light from a lamppost barely lit the place. Then Knock did something I never expected. She raised her hand and knocked on the door. Tap, tap. I freaked out, grabbing her arm, "Stop." But it was too late. From inside the room, there was a knock back. Tap, 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 clear as day. Like someone was in there. Knock and I stared at each other, chills running down our spines. Then Knock screamed and bolted. I ran after her, but as I did, I felt like someone was watching me from behind. I turned around, nothing. But the air felt unnaturally cold. Or, was something following us? That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the knocking in my head. Tap, tap, it echoed endlessly. I tried to tell myself it was just my imagination, but my heart wouldn't calm down. At 2 a.m., Knock called me, her voice shaking. "Pear." I dreamt of a woman, wearing an old school uniform, her long hair covering her face. She stood at the foot of my bed and whispered, "Why did you knock?" I was stunned but told her, "Knock, don't overthink it." Deep down, though, I was terrified. Because I had the same dream. But in mine, the woman didn't just stand there. She slowly walked closer, her cold hand touched my shoulder. I felt a chill so intense I jolted awake. I looked around my room, nothing. But why was my heart racing like that? The next day, Knock came to school looking pale. She said that after the dream, she heard knocking at her bedroom window every night. Tap, tap, her house was on the 3rd floor. Pear, I'm scared. This isn't just a dream, she said. I tried to comfort her, but I wasn't sure myself. Then one day, Knock gave me something, a small notebook. Pear, read this. I found it in an old locker, she said. I opened it. It was a student's diary, written in messy handwriting. It said, "Room 405 isn't just a room, it's a prison for something. Don't go in. Don't knock. If you hear a sound, don't answer." My heart sank. How did they know? Or, had Knock found something more? Knock started to change. She wasn't her cheerful self anymore. She stopped talking about room April 5th, but I caught her staring at the old building with fear in her eyes. Eventually, Knock transferred schools. Before she left, she warned me, "Pear, don't go near that room again." I nodded, but curiosity got the better of me. I decided to go back to room 405. Alone. It was pouring rain that day, with lightning flashing again and again. I stood in front of the door, my hands trembling. Then I heard it, knocking from inside. Asterisk tap. Tap asterisk, but this time, it got faster. Tap tap tap, like someone was trying to get out. I was terrified, but for some reason, I raised my hand and knocked back. Tap, tap, everything went silent. A chilling, terrifying silence. Suddenly, the door shook, like something was pushing from the inside. I screamed and ran, the rain blinding me. But I felt it, something was following me. Footsteps splashed behind me. Splash, splash, I turned around, nothing. But a faint, metallic smell hung in the air. The next day, I fell seriously ill, burning with fever. My mom said I was delirious all night. I vaguely remember, in my dream, the woman came back. This time, she spoke clearly, "You set me free." I woke up drenched in sweat. I looked at my desk, Knock's notebook was gone. I asked my mom, and she said, "There was no notebook on your desk. Where did it go? Or, did someone take it?" I started to panic. Because after that, I began hearing knocking at my own window every night. Tap, tap, I didn't dare look, but I could feel something outside. Strange things started happening at school. Classmates said they heard knocking from room 405 every night. Some saw a figure standing in front of the room. Others noticed muddy handprints on the windows. The teachers banned students from going near the old building, but the more they forbade it, the more curious people got. A junior named Pop, a reckless kid, declared, "I'm going to prove it's nothing." I warned him, "Don't go." But he didn't listen. That night, Pop sneaked into room 405. He cut the chain with scissors and pushed the door open. The next day, Pop was gone. No one could find him. His parents came to the school, but the teacher said Pop didn't show up for class. I knew the truth. Pop went into that room, and he never came out. After Pop disappeared, the school became eerily quiet. Rumors spread that room 45 was haunted by a young girl. Some said they saw her wandering the building, wearing an old uniform, her long hair covering her face. At night, people heard cries, "Let me go, let me go." I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know the truth. I went to the old library and dug through the school's records. I found an old document that said room 4/5 was used to isolate patients during the war. A girl named Jan was locked inside. She was gravely ill, but no one helped her. She died in there, her body buried beneath the floor. I got goosebumps. Jan. Was she the one I saw in my dreams? And when she said, "You set me free," what did she mean? I told the principal, but he got angry. "Pear, stop talking nonsense," he snapped, ordering me to drop it. That night, I dreamt of Jan again. This time, she smiled. "Thank you for telling, but it's not over." I woke up with 3 deep scratches on my arm, blood oozing out. I screamed, waking the whole house. My mom was horrified, but no one could explain it. Soon after, the principal resigned abruptly. They say he heard knocking at his house every night until he couldn't take it anymore. The story didn't end there. Another friend, Mint, who was naturally curious, kept digging into room April 5th. She found an old photo in a storage room, a picture of a girl in a school uniform, with long hair, holding a notebook. Mint said, "Pear, this looks like the girl in your dreams." I looked at the photo, my heart pounding. It was January. But what was stranger, the photo had a red mark scratched across her face, like someone tried to erase her. Mint took the photo home. That night, she called me, panicked. "Pear, someone's knocking at my door, but no one's there." The line cut off. The next day, Mint showed up at school with red eyes. She said, "The photo's gone," and there were muddy footprints all over my house. I started to realize, everyone who got involved with room 4/5 experienced something strange. So I decided to find answers one last time. I went to the old building at night. It was raining again. I stood in front of room 4/5, and this time, the door was slightly ajar. I took a deep breath and walked inside. It was pitch black, with a rotting stench in the air. Then I saw her, a figure standing in the corner, long hair, facing away. I called out, "Jan. Is that you?" The figure turned. Her face was pale, her eyes blood red. She smiled. "You came to me, perfect." Then everything went dark. When I woke up, I was lying outside the building, soaked in rain. In my hand was Jan's notebook. The last page read, "I waited for someone to knock, and now I'm free." After that, the school demolished room 4/5 and built a new building over it. But students still say they hear knocking from beneath the floor. Tap, tap. Some nights, people see a woman's shadow staring from the new building's windows. I never went back to that school. But I kept Jan's notebook. And some nights, I still hear knocking in my bedroom. Tap, tap. To everyone listening, have you ever heard strange knocking? Or, is something knocking near you right now, without you realizing it? Sweet dreams.